online at ktcbroadcasting.com.
I know they can't hear me, but I'm going to go ahead and start the show.
Damn,
They're all
easier to
having
do
a nice,
Terry's
friendly
than
discussion
Kevin's.
about
It's easy.
baseball.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently.
We're back. We got you.
I asked a specific question. You have going to open-ended question.
Nobody could see in here.
I mean,
during
Oh
that
my
commercial break
goodness.
from Facebook.
Because when you
it's
say
been wild.
when you say what's the best basketball player, I would say not only does it include one-on-one free throws, the mental toughness to win championships. Because some people say what made Michael Jordan great.
For those of you that want to know what
when,
happened,
when you beat Michael Jordan, he got in the gym and like when he came back and lost that playoff series,
Right.
he got in the offseason and worked his tail off and came back.
Let me address
that
something.
contributes to your greatness as a basketball player.
Let me address something. Thank you all for coming back with us
Yes.
after this commercial break.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for listening. For those of you that don't know what happens during commercial breaks, for whether it's our show or any other show, conversation continues. Okay,
Yeah,
and
'cause-
sometimes it rolls over into this
Yeah,
next
but
segment.
I just been thinking, but what's really made me think, because the Jordan documentary has got everybody talking about basketball, even though there is no basketball, but the mental toughness of somebody. You take it like a Tiger Woods in golf. It's a bit of an intangible because you can't really see it. But
Tiger lost his. Let's not forget. Tiger,
Yeah, but
it
at
took
one
a
time,
certain
but at one time,
something,
but at one
and
time.
he lost it for. I don't
But-
think he's
but-
ever really
but
He
recovered.
is not mental tough at all. Tiger
He
Woods.
used to be.
He's never been mentally tough.
I don't know, Kevin.
You know why? Up until his
I don't know about
last
that.
fixed tournament that he won, he had never come from behind in his career.
I'm talking-
How are you mentally tough leading the lead?
Because you never blew a lead.
Richard Petty's
You
all
never
tough
blew it.
out there leading by 3 laps.
No. How many times have you seen a guy in the lead blow it in golf? Crumble. So I would say, yeah. But anyway, let's not get on Tiger Woods.
He's
Let's
not a
say-
choker. How about that? I'll say that.
Not a choker.
It's a good description
Well,
of
we
him.
don't don't know that. That's a personal thing, but
God. He might be.
Don't tell them it's your own
Anyway,
opinion.
I was just saying, in watching Michael Jordan, listening to him talk, some of the things he did is just this. I think that contributes to a player's greatness is how mentally strong, mentally tough. How many times can you get up off the mat and do it again? And I just think that's why you have to put him in front of LeBron James. I know a lot of people say LeBron James should be in front. It's kind of funny on the Cleveland
What's the
website.
reasoning for that?
What's the reasoning for what?
I want the reasoning for why LeBron is better than Michael Jordan at basketball at any.
well, look, I can tell you exactly.
Are the words going to be 6'9", 250?
Okay, that's just
If that's
no.
the reason, then Yao Ming is better than
okay,
Shaq.
let me
Yao Ming's better than
I'll go ahead and
Shaq.
let you tear this down. They say, well, hasn't LeBron James passed Michael Jordan in scoring?
So did Karl Malone.
Do what?
So did Karl Malone.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what they're saying. That he scored more points.
Well,
and his career was
Did
longer.
Shannon last night said
And
Duncan was better than Robinson because he scored more. But he played
don't
10
start.
years longer.
Don't start because
Duncan
y'all
smoked
wore
him.
out, literally wore
Yeah.
out the battery on
My
my phone
Lord.
once Shannon
yeah,
got
mine went dead 4 times.
Listen, no, but this is
But
serious though.
Kevin, they say he's got more points and he's played more years
That's
and he
key.
went to more. I know. I'm just you asked for the reason.
I know.
Did you
And
see
then he-
Kendrick Perkins's like the comparison he put? They talked about it on Undisputed yesterday. It was like comparison, and it was nitpick stats. It was LeBron James's last 3 finals versus Michael's last 3 finals. LeBron James scored more, he had more rebounds, and he had more assists. And then but LeBron went 0-3.
Yeah.
And Michael
See,
went 3-0.
But they say
I never saw a game
They
7.
say he scored more total points. He's played longer. He went to more straight finals.
that's the argument.
That's the argument for LeBron James.
Okay, so there's 3 points.
And on like I said on the Cleveland websites, they just like put them physically next together. They're like, "Oh, this is LeBron James." I said, but that's got nothing to do with it. If we're like the biggest physical freak in the history of the NBA, that's different.
My
argument.
buddy.
Do I
is-
need to make Yao Ming and Shaq memes
No.
so everybody
My
can
buddy-
see that Yao is so much bigger than Shaq, and he must be better than Shaq?
My
That's what
buddy-
they're saying.
Yeah.
Listen, my buddy is the biggest
He's
LeBron
the-
James fan ever. And the same thing I hear all the time is, look,
I
he
got a
will,
question
he
for
will
Terry
never
on this.
he will never take away Michael's scoring ability, but he says LeBron James is the better overall basketball player. And I'm like,
No,
what do you mean?
no.
Explain it. They
Like,
can't.
what do you mean?
It's
He's like,
general.
he's
They
like,
just
well,
say stuff.
he has more assists. He averages more assists. He averages more rebounds. And I'm like, so
just
and
was-
I told him, I was like, you don't forget, They didn't ask Michael Jordan to be the assist man or the rebound man. They asked him to score and to win games. He was the one that called game.
Let me put it to you like this. And this is how, when I asked, give your own opinion, and I'm going to show something out there. Give me a couple minutes to tell this out. They asked Isaiah Thomas.
I've seen this.
Yeah. Who was his top 5 of all time? Number 1, he said Kareem. Number 2, he said Larry Bird. Number 3, he said Magic Johnson. Number 4, he said Michael Jordan. And number 5, he said Dr. J.
Well, that's because he hates Michael Jordan.
He does. Okay, now wait a minute. Now, here we go. Here we go.
He hates Michael
Just like
Jordan.
I sent y'all out that thing of what Michael Jordan said about Bird. But now here's the next one. LeBron James, they asked him who his top 4 was. He said Michael Jordan, Dr. J, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson. But now, and that's taking him out of it because he probably would have been number 5. All right. One more. They went to Reggie Miller and asked him who his top 2 was in today's rules. That's how they put it to him. He said Larry Bird and LeBron James.
JP, wake up.
When you go and ask people who are their top 10, and I did mine, and I'm just going to run you mine, and y'all's will be different. I know it will, and I don't have no problem with what y'all's 10 are.
Hold on a second. I just want to say that.
I feel like
I just want to say that Terry has confiscated state property because he wrote these notes on West Lincoln Hall passes. Go ahead, Terry.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Number
Dang,
1.
Tom, way to be a narc.
What a snitch.
What a snitch. Snitches get stitches,
All
Tom.
right, Tom. I'll call Doctor, get in here and stitch you up here in a minute, Tommy. Wearing a Pittsburgh started shirt, and he starts snitching.
What they always say in school, snitches get stitches.
Yeah, God.
Yeah. I mean,
This ain't going to end well.
He would have done it. He would have done it to me.
I would have
That's
never
why
done it
to me. Go ahead.
All
Terry,
right,
go
this is my top 10. I'm going,
Greatest or best?
Kevin, stop it. Stop
Why is
top
that
10.
hard? Tom, if I'm a student in your class, do I not need to be clarification on what I'm about to write on my final test between the greatest and best?
You would be the student to say, Mr. Hastings, will you step out in the hall, please?
Yes.
Tom, I'll put it this way. Because I didn't ask a question one time, a guy who got spaghetti on his shirt every time he eat got a better grade on a writing test than I did one time. And that's why you ask questions like that.
I understand.
All right.
I understand.
Number 10.
Did you just make fun of a guy that had spaghetti on his shirt?
Spaghetti
Dude,
on
he
his shirt.
couldn't eat. You knew what he had for lunch every day because he took his overshirt off and wore his white shirt to lunch. And whatever he ate every day, you could see him in third period and say, "Hey, Wes, you had spaghetti today."
That's probably got to
man.
be one of them owners.
Hey, Wes, you had a cheeseburger today because there's ketchup all over down the front of your shirt.
All
I'm just
right.
telling you.
Terry,
Number 10.
And he got a 4.0 on a writing test, Tom.
Number 10. I
Go
put
ahead, Terry.
Dirk Nowitzki. He would be my number 10th guy, and I'm writing him down. Number 9, Kevin Durant. And people go, oh, God. Number 8, Tim Duncan. Number 7 will be Kobe Bryant. Number 6 will be Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Number 5 would be Dr. J. Number 4 would be LeBron James. And these 3 other guys are the people who made the NBA. And people can tell me whatever they want to. Number 3 would be Magic. Number 2 would be Larry Bird. And number 1 is Michael Jordan. And Michael Jordan, and no, not Mike Jordan, but Magic and Larry's the one that made the NBA, or it would have went broke.
Yeah, that's right.
If
Back
it
in the
wasn't
day.
So
for
it's
them.
the 4 players who made the NBA. Is that what we're doing on the list?
No.
Okay, I just want to
The
make sure
10
that's the list.
greatest of all time. Those are my top 10.
You know what hurts Bird?
Now it's the greatest. I got it now, honey. It's the greatest.
You know what hurts Bird though is because
What?
he did get hurt and did not have as long a career.
No, you
as
know,
some
you
of
want to
those
know
other
what
guys.
hurts Larry Bird?
No.
Hate to say it, he's white.
No, let me tell you what
exactly
hurt.
what hurts.
That's exactly
Oh,
you
no.
can't help it. That's
He
exactly
did
what hurts
not
him.
play as long as some
Oh,
other guys.
don't even.
No, but I'm serious, Terry. But you know what else isn't fair is those guys like Magic and Bird had to play college ball.
They did.
And Magic, John played college, and Bird did,
And, you know,
and
I'll be
LeBron
the-
James did.
I'll be the first person to
and
say this.
Kobe
I hate to
did.
bring race into things. I really do, and I hate it when the media does it. The major media networks bring race into it. But 100%, that's what hurts Larry Bird. Is he's white?
I don't think so.
That's-
I
no,
think
that's
his
exactly
what
career,
it
his
is.
career
Do you know
was
what
not as long.
Isaiah,
His career was not as long.
Reggie, Michael, all of them said about Larry Bird? the biggest trash talker you ever want to talk to.
Everybody,
Oh, everybody said that.
everybody that played with him or against him vouches for him. But
Oh, but
everyone,
today-
everyone younger than me will say the same thing that Hunter just said. He's not any good because he's a white boy. Same thing with Dirk Nowitzki.
No.
He toasted LeBron. Toasted him. Just straight toasted LeBron. But you know, they won't give him the credit. It was an accidental loss. 6 losses is an accident. One of them's. Would Michael Jordan have been toasted by the Dallas Mavericks? Not even getting beaten 7 games. Would they have been toasted by the Dallas Mavericks? Dirk Nowitzki would have smoked Dennis Rodman, and Jason Kidd would have just destroyed.
I need
Pippen and
people
Jordan.
to understand
come on.
how much of a blunder that really was by that Heat team. You had a Heat team with not only LeBron James, it had Dwayne Wade, Hall of Famer. I think we can all agree he's in the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
Chris Bosh, he's going to be borderline. His career was really just cut short because of blood clots. It wasn't even anything to do with him.
The basketball team is the most egregious team in the history of our country.
But I'm just talking about how that finals. You're talking about those 3 potential, 2 of them solid potential Hall of Famers lost to the one Hall of Famer in Dirk, and he was he was
all-time leading scorer,
and he was kind of, and to me, Dirk, I don't want to call that prime Dirk.
Yeah,
that was more towards the end of Dirk's career. I know he played until 2 years ago.
It's this example,
but still, it's
Yeah.
like he was over 35.
Hunter,
But look how long his career was too.
Here's Dirk's example of
very
when he
long
won the
career.
championship. Here's Dirk's example of when he won the championship.
Actually, I want to know how old he was when he won it. Continue.
That was Dirk's Jordan's second
Mm-hmm.
three-peat years. He wasn't the athlete he was.
Yeah.
He had perfected what, Terry? The fadeaway and that footwork on the post game. He had Akeem Olajuwon's footwork with that damn fadeaway of Jordan's, and you can't
getting ready to
stop
say,
it.
yeah,
you can't do nothing with it. And he didn't get to a championship. He didn't get to 6. Obviously, like Mikey wasn't the athlete, but Hunter's right. He was a great athlete in his 20s that people don't get. Then when he got to 30, that's when he won it. But that's when you perfect your game, is it not, Terry?
I agree.
Right at age 30?
It is. And there's 2 things, and when I put him on mine because I don't think anybody can stop me. 7 foot fade away. You couldn't block that. I don't care who you were.
Yeah.
You know, and there's 2 plays that Bird that I want to talk about because he was 2.
He was
that
32.
always do.
Okay, so he wasn't quite 35.
When
But
he
was still 32.
played against Dr. J, he told Dr. J, and they was coming down the court, he told the Dr. J, "You're too old. You cannot play this game no more." And that's when Bird had him he had scored 42 and Dr. J had scored 6. And next thing you know, they're in a fight because Bird never quit talking to him. The whole game is lighting him up. And then the play when they went to Philadelphia and Barkley had to guard Bird, and Bird knew that he had been out all night and told Barkley, "I'm getting ready to toast you." He says, "Because you're not going to be able to play with me." And he hit back-to-back threes against him, and he come down the court, and he says, "Coach, put somebody else in. He's no good. Get somebody else." So they sent Rick Mahorn in, and he said, "I almost laughed." He said, "Because he was way too slow to be with me." And he said, "I lit him up. I went by him and I said, 'Coach, get somebody else, stick somebody else in.' So they sent Gilmore in." He said, "That didn't last long. I lit him up." He said, "I come back down the court for about the end of the second quarter, and I said, 'Coach, you need to get that rookie. Stick that rookie in.' He can't guard me." And said, "Old Jason Williams was over there going, 'Yeah, stick me in. I'll get him. Stick me in.'" And he said, about that time, Coach said, "Go get him." He said, "I stuck him in there, and all of a sudden, he hit a 3. And then he come down the next time and pump faked a 3, and Jason Williams went over his head, and he looked at him and said, 'Dumb rookie,' and fired another 3 and hit it. And he said he come back down the court, and he said he went, toasted him up and underneath, and dunked on him. And Jason Williams said at that time, he says, 'Am I playing the right game? This dude is lighting me up.'"
He was MVP, he was the MVP 3 straight years.
You know.
I mean.
Oh, I can sit here and vouch for how good Larry Bird is.
I mean,
I've seen it. I've watched the highlights.
Tom will remember, Hunter, that there was a time that people were debating Bird or Jordan as the best player in the NBA.
Right. Yeah.
At the end of the first documentary, there were also, Terry, if you noticed, they were debating. People were saying after he won his 3rd, he was already the greatest basketball player ever. So LeBron fans, we didn't wait till 6 championships. Hey guys, this is now the greatest. It was at 3. Then he retired and played baseball, hit 200 in AA, by the way, then decided to come back after getting beat by Shaq being out of shape in baseball shape, gets in shape. Oh, he swept Shaq, everyone says, the most dominant. If you ask anybody under 30, Shaq's the greatest center of all time, and he wasn't. Shaq didn't start winning until when? Akeem retired, David Robinson left. Patrick Ewing left. Jordan left. Now all of a sudden, Shaq's winning championships with the best guard in the league. Now he's the most dominant force. Get out of here! You couldn't shoot a free throw. Listen, he was good. He was dominant. He was. But it's not like everyone in the league was like, well, they're going to win it every year.
He didn't
did
make
the
my
first
top
8
10.
years.
He
So-
didn't make it for the simple reason
No,
free
Shaq's
throws.
not in my
I
top.
poo-poo Shaq a lot on a lot of that. It just
Yeah.
he wasn't while he was playing in the first 10 years. Nobody was saying this is the best player in the league. They just weren't. It was Jordan, and then Kobe, or Shaq, David Robinson, Hakeem. He got smoked by Hakeem. Okay, then he got swept by Jordan the next year.
Hakeem was pretty good, though.
Right, like Hakeem. Everybody forgets him. So when they say Shaq, I'm like, okay, you pick Shaq. I'll take Hakeem Olajuwon, and whatever game you want to play, I'll win because I already know the end result of that. And so, Terry, I guess Tom, y'all want to get into, try to do whatever Terry wanted you to do.
I mean, I didn't come prepared with my top 10 list. Terry didn't
I
say
sent
bring it
that
to
out.
the. You said it, but you say a lot of things. So I mean, you don't know what you're going to do.
Comparative stats: LeBron 27-7-7, Larry Bird 24-10-6.
I mean, like if you asked me like to do it easy, the top four, I think the top four you had Jordan, James, Bird, Magic, and I definitely think you have to have Michael Jordan at the top, and then you could really argue. I mean, I was home the other day just listening to the guys go back and forth about who's better, Bird or Magic, and it's like, man, I just listened to this guy. Magic was better. You listen to this guy. No, Bird was better. I mean, really, Terry.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really, really hard.
I don't think you could.
It's really
have
hard
ever,
to say which one.
I don't
It's
think.
hard.
I don't think you could have ever went between Michael and Bird because both of them would hit clinching shots. That's where they always went back on LeBron. He could not finish games.
Yeah.
Those two could.
And it just, like I said, I've already said, Jordan's mental, of course, Bird too. But, I will always say that because Bird might have been, separated himself a little bit more if he'd have been able to play longer. If he hadn't had those nagging injuries later in his career. Because really, he probably had about 7 or 8 good years. And then it just started. Because I can remember when I was in high school and he was into his career, I remember he went into the game, played a little bit, had to come out. He just couldn't do it anymore.
And then he'd go over and lay on his back.
Right. And he just couldn't do it. I think if he could have had another, like a Nowitzki type career where he would have lasted that long.
Bird played 13 years, starting at age 23 in the NBA.
Yeah, but
So now they start at 19.
Yeah, the last few years it just wasn't the same. I mean,
And a
it
lot of
wasn't
them
the
years
same.
was no 3-pointer.
But that's because they relished playing college basketball. Then they don't relish playing
They
college
don't.
basketball.
No, it's not what it was.
To mine,
Terry, they
my
had a
list.
3-pointer out every year he played.
What's that?
Terry, they had 3-pointers in every year
Every
he
year
played.
he played.
I was getting ready to say I didn't want to correct you on that, Terry, but
Okay.
I was,
Well,
I
I
was
mean, I
thinking they did. It was in the pro game first, right, Kevin? It was in the pro game, then it came to college.
It went to college. I think it got there. Michael's
What was
sophomore
weird,
year?
But what was weird? It was by conference. Like some conferences had it,
Some
some
of them
conferences
didn't. Yeah.
didn't. Yeah. So
my top 10 though would look completely different than you guys because it would just mostly be players I played. It'd be easy for me to sit here and list everybody else that everybody calls the greats. Like I know I can admit here just because I've done so much research that Michael Jordan is the best. And I know some people be like, you could almost say 1A, 1B with him and LeBron. LeBron has been the best since I've watched.
He is.
If it's not LeBron, it's
He
Kobe.
is good.
If
Now.
it's not LeBron, it's Kobe.
Y'all disrespect. Go, keep going.
So to me, like
It's his opinion.
my list would just be so much different because it would have to go off base of who I watched. Kevin Durant would be up there. It was because Kevin Durant is just this pure sniper, and what he does at his size is ridiculous. And then I'm not gonna lie, Dwayne Wade has always been good. Dwayne Wade has been a model of consistency when it comes to basketball in the
I
NBA.
like the character. Of
Oh, I
Dwayne.
like Dwayne's
Yeah.
character too. And people forget that series, his first championship that he won, he averaged 34 with Shaq on his team. So, I mean, he was the driving force of that Miami Heat. The championship he won when Shaq was there, and really he was still the quote unquote leader of the days that LeBron was there until maybe LeBron's second or third season when he was with the Heat. Then Dwayne was like, all right, I'm going to defer to you a little bit because he kind of learned how to be a leader. So if you just were to go off of base players that I've got to watch, I would have to take Michael off the list. But if you're just talking all time, Michael would be on there. Just the players that I've gotten to watch. So it would probably be Kobe. I would put Kobe at 1. because that's the closest thing I had to Michael. LeBron has been 2. Kevin Durant's 3. Steph Curry is 4. And Dwayne Wade would be 5. If I went 10, I'd be pulling. But that would be mine. And mostly because Steph Curry, I bought a Steph Curry shirt after he started lighting it up before they won the championship. Because what I was seeing from him, he's a Davidson kid. It's cool to see somebody just from your backyard go out there and do the stuff that he's doing. But at his size, he's just maybe a few inches taller than me. So I was like, I can go out there and do that.
Isn't he a little taller than that?
He's like 6'1", maybe 6'2". I'm like 5'10".
I thought he was taller than that.
I'm like 5'10", so he really ain't that big. His shoes might give him an extra inch, but
seemed like he was a little taller.
So if you were just to ask, who the best players that I got to see, that would be my 5. I would have to reach for a lot more.
And it is hard.
I will say this though, he didn't really pan out, but MVP Derrick Rose for the Chicago Bulls might be one of the best seasons might be one of the best point guards ever. He was Russell Westbrook before the injuries. Yeah. He was Russell Westbrook. Couldn't shoot threes, but was the most explosive player on the floor.
You know what the problem is? We can't really computer, seeing all this iRacing and all this stuff. It'd be nice if we could just computer generate 2 players in their prime and just go at it.
Yeah. Well, it's another thing too. When I go back and you think of mine, I didn't mention Wilt. I didn't mention Bill Russell and all them won. Well, Bill Russell won tons. And then I didn't mention Oscar Robertson. I never got to see them really get to play a lot. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't put them in.
That's why I did
but
mine
those
that
are
way.
good.
Yeah, basically you can just watch the highlights. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's all it is. Hardwood classics.
It's hardwood. It is hard to tell over time. And like I said, when I watch it on TV and they're breaking it down, as soon as one guy gets done, it's like, man, that's a pretty good argument. Then you watch the next, man, that's pretty good too. And they'll show the highlight. It's very difficult. I think that's why Kevin says, I got to have more criteria.
I've got 5 lists over here because I didn't know how to answer this question, so I kept it all top 5s and 4s over here.
He's definitely more scientific than you, Terry.
Yeah.
I ask for credit for that.
Terry, I do got a question. Wilt Chamberlain, Bill Russell, is that not the LeBron Jordan argument, basically? Chamberlain's like 9 in championships or something like that, and Russell won them all. But here's the difference. What if Russell would have outscored Wilt and was the all-time leading scorer? That's now what we're arguing about. Not only was Jordan, you say, with 6 championships. Well, by God, he's the all-time leading scorer. Not total points, per game. Now, as per game, Terry, he's 6'6", playing in a league with no 3-pointers, dominated by 7-footers, and he's the all-time leading scorer in points per game. So I like looking at the all-time points per game things. Now, some of them get skewed because in the later years, like Tom tried to mention there for a second, that they do get lower in points as they go. A few.
That was the argument. That was the argument Skip Bayless made yesterday when they were bringing up, LeBron's 3 finals versus Jordan's 3 finals. He was like, comparatively, they scored more points in today's game than they did in Jordan's 3 finals. They were averaging like 112 points per game in those Golden State series, where they were averaging like 90 in the Bulls series against the Jazz.
Because you
play a little bit of stronger defense. And basically what he did was Michael was scoring, if you did what they scored, averaged in that series together, what like percentage-wise of the amount of points scored in that game, he was like, Michael was scoring 35% of their points and winning, and LeBron was scoring 34% of their points and losing. It was literally only like a 1% difference between the two, but the difference was one was winning and one was losing.
So a couple of things about, of course, besides the 6 championships, you got 2 Olympic rings, and he saved the world from alien slavery from Space Jam.
But I will say this though.
Why does he always bring it up?
That's so fun.
But I will say this though. I don't know if you guys can agree. LeBron did have in that final 3 finals though. He did have the harder competition between what Jordan had and what LeBron had, because them going, especially the Golden State team with Kevin Durant, I think was the hardest competition between the two. Right. But that's not to take away from Stockton and Malone. Like, they're still great, but we're talking about Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Kevin Durant. And I know people don't like Draymond except for Terry here, but he was a pain in the ass. Let's be honest.
They went 1-1 against Durant, and he had the Achilles. So kind of really what I want to get at with Terry on that was the Wilt Bill kind of thing, and then talk on how Jordan was Bill Russell, but he also was the greatest scorer of all time and the Olympics and everything else. So it's just Hunter. It's almost an insult for your generation to even to bring up to me LeBron in Jordan's name. Actually, like we talked about the three, we'd be arguing if it was three. Then he won three more after retiring playing baseball. It's just silly to me to even talk.
So would
about
you be fine? You would probably stand greater for anybody saying Michael and Kobe.
In what do you mean?
Just like in the comparison, you're sitting there saying you don't want to hear people compare Michael Jordan and LeBron. It's like, well, would you take Michael Jordan, Kobe?
Sort of, kind of.
I don't think anyone compares to Jordan. Listen, all right, Jordan had one All-Star his whole career. One. Scottie Pippen's the only one that made an All-Star team while he's on his team. LeBron had two on every team in the finals. It's not like he had two. He had more than Jordan ever had in his career. All right, the first 4 years, rookie year. Are you going to win a championship in your rookie year with the Cocaine Express? No. The next year, he averages 37 points a game with the Cocaine Express. Then the next year, he hurt his leg. Then he come back and averaged 37, still with no All-Star. Then the next year, he comes back. Pippen comes back. It was his rookie year in 89. Is he going to win a championship his rookie year? No. So now, in his second year, Pippen gets a headache in Game 7. So who has he lost to? Magic, Larry, and Isaiah.
This is why his head explodes every time you say, "Well, LeBron James didn't have help this last year." This is the argument, right? This is the argument that Michael Jordan did it with a lot less help than LeBron.
Every team he went up against that people don't think. You talk about the less competition. Well, Terry, let's look at those teams. Is Magic Johnson good? Is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar good? Is James Worthy? Kareem didn't play in that. Is James Worthy good? Lonnie Devos was on that team. He was an All-Star. So there's 3 All-Stars on that team. Next year in Portland, Terry Porter made an All-Star. Buck Williams is top 20 in rebounding. He made All-Stars. Clyde Drexler everybody knows who Clyde Drexler is. In Phoenix, Tom Chambers made All-Stars. Kevin Johnson made All-Stars. Dan Marley made All-Stars. Charles Barkley made All-Stars. There's 4. All right, let's go to Seattle. Hey, guess what? Gary Payton made All-Stars. Sean Kemp made All-Stars.
Yeah.
And
that was a good Seattle team.
Gosh,
I forgot how good that team was.
You know who else was on the team that made All-Stars? How about Detlef
Shrimp?
He made All-Star teams.
I forgot when I saw
There's
that. I was
3.
like, man, that was a good Seattle team.
In Utah, Hornacek, Stockton, and Malone all made All-Star teams. So every team he played against had 3 times as many All-Stars than he ever had on his team.
I guess the counter argument would be, but he had the second best player in the league on his team. He was the best.
Who?
And Pippen was.
Pippen was not even close. You
don't think? But people would argue that.
I'm gonna skip Bayless's wagon on Pippen. Let me tell you what Pippen was. He was the best damn on-ball defender I'll take in anything. If we're going to the park, if we're playing a game in any situation, if I've got Jordan on my team, I'll take Scottie Pippen as the point guard. Not as my small forward. I want him playing point guard because I want him to guard the ball handler and disrupt people. He's great at filling in the lane. He's great at being the number 2. He's great at that. But he couldn't let Tony take that shot. I know Jordan wouldn't have let him, but he wasn't Michael Jordan. Jordan takes the double team shot, Pippen don't take the double team shot. Okay? That was my thing with Pippen. He's a lot closer to Clyde Drexler than he is top 10. Akeem Olajuwon won the championship too with that when he was gone. So I want to get on Pippen real quick, but this is what I want to do. All right, you on my list. We got to go. We're gonna have some more stuff. We got to talk NASCAR. All right. So Terry, I did a couple different quick things for you because I didn't know what you meant. And you're right about the big men and stuff like that. You know, the old years and stuff. It's hard to include the big man in a list with the guards on however you do it. If you want to do greatest, best, whatever. So, Terry, my favorite. Oh, I'll save that one. Top 5. I'm gonna do it this way. Y'all named all the legends, so I'm gonna cut this one out, and that one out. Real quick, Terry. Here's your LeBron versus Bird numbers. LeBron's best years were 31-7-6 and 38-6. Okay. Larry Bird's best year 39-8. So more rebounds and more assists than LeBron. Same number of points in one year, one less than the other one. Larry Bird won 3 championships. LeBron won 3. Also, LeBron's had 17 years? Mm-hmm. And he's won 3. Jordan did it 3 and 13 in Chicago? 6 and 13. So what's his winning percentage? All right. So all time, I'm doing the small forwards list. So I'm going to make some people mad here. Number 1, Kevin Durant. Where's my list? Number 2, Larry Bird. Number 3, Manu Ginobili. And number 4, Scottie Pippen. And number 5, LeBron James. Now, Terry said I could make any list
You can.
for any reason.
There you go.
However I wanted.
It's your opinion.
My list, my top 5, whatever it is.
I'm not sure
opinion.
why you
I'll
put Pippen on the
concede.
list after you just basically said he's a good on-ball defender and he's not the best in the NBA, but he's on your list.
He's LeBron, but he's won twice as many championships. LeBron's
Yeah,
not on
I
Michael's
understand
level.
that. But
Him and Pippen and LeBron are the same player to me, except LeBron weighs 30 pounds more. And Pippen's a better defender, so one's won double championships, so Pippen only needed one other All-Star on his team. LeBron needed 2. That's my argument with Pippen. Now, I'm going to go down the list on why LeBron's number 5 in small forwards. Number 1 is Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is 2-2 against him in the finals. 1, he tore his Achilles in the last one. We all know what happened. The other one was Kevin Durant's 3rd or 4th year, something like that. His point guards, his guards on that team, were James Harden and Russell Westbrook, the most ball-hoggingest people in the NBA. Here's what's so incredible about Kevin Durant. He averages 27.1 points a game, which is 0.1 points less than LeBron. I'm going to give you exactly. It's not even 0.1. It's 0.07 points a game less than LeBron. All-time leading scorers is Jordan per game, Wilt Chamberlain, Elgin Baylor, LeBron, Jerry West, and Durant's tied. All right. Durant has played. Who's the point guards for LeBron's career? Tom.
well, you had
Let's start.
Kyrie Irving.
Mario Chalmers.
yeah.
Mo Chalmers. I'm combining 2 people here. Mo Williams, Mario Chalmers, Matthew Dellavedova.
Yeah, bring him up.
All right. Jordan's point guards were John Paxson, B.J. Armstrong. And Kevin Durant's point guards were Russell Westbrook and Steph Curry. If he played with point guards that threw him the ball instead of kept it themselves, he would be close to Jordan and Wilt in points per game.
And guess what? He doesn't even have that kind of point guard.
Who's his new point guard now?
Yeah.
So we are never seeing, in my opinion, the absolute best that we could ever get from Kevin Durant, because he is sharing the basketball more than any other player almost in NBA history with his point guards, and he's still scoring 4th all-time at 27 points per game.
I'm going to say this. I feel like that's a narrative that's not spoken about. Because it's, like, if you think about it, it makes a lot of sense. He doesn't get nearly as many shots as he should.
No.
Yeah. So really, he needs a Rondo or a Stockton or somebody like that
Terry,
to run his point.
If Oklahoma City would have traded Westbrook for Rondo, they would have won championships. If they had Rondo and Harden out there with Durant, oh my. Terry, you were 100%. I've been saying for years, and even on my video game, I like putting a point guard, even Rondo sometimes, on there with Durant. Because why would you, like what we argue, like why would you want anyone else shooting on the floor? Why would if I was the coach of Draymond Green ever put a jumper while Kevin Durant was on the floor, I took him out every time. And that's why Kevin Durant's clapping at him. It just give me
I
the
forgot
ball.
I was muted. But that's what I was basically.
We can hear you.
essentially, you guys can hear me. Radio couldn't. Essentially, what I had said, and people were like, "Wow, he's mouthing on Facebook, but we can't hear him." Yeah, I just said that's a narrative that no one really speaks about. He hasn't had a pass first point
It just
guard. Let's
drove
put
me
it that
crazy
way.
for years. It just really has, just because Durant will come off the corner, off a wing. You know, if that's Jordan or Kobe or something, he's getting the pass. He'll come running around the corner and dribble. Here comes Steph and Russ firing it up, and he's just like, he'll throw. I don't know how many times you just see him throw his hands up. Just give me the damn ball.
Yeah.
And I can't believe he's going to play with Kyrie like that. All right, that's Durant. I could be on a high horse for him about. Now, another thing, another argument with Durant real quick. I guess I'm not going to leave it. Up until now, one-on-one, I think Jordan could beat about anybody that wouldn't have a problem with. He said Kobe would give him the problem because they got the same moves. Durant's the only person who's come through that I've said would give him problems. He can do the same things he can, and he's 7 foot. The thing about Durant, too, doesn't even have to, but someone mentioned Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. If they played against each other, I love Kareem.
Yeah.
I put him on a lot of my things. He's not guarding Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant could probably guard him pretty well, being 7 foot tall. Durant can play almost anybody in the history of the game in a game of one-on-one and should be able to win. Not all of them, but most
He's
of them.
got all the skills.
He's 7 foot and has guard skills. Garnett was probably the closest thing to that. He can't dribble and move like Durant can. He can't shoot, but Garnett's very, very close, and he's very high on my list of players. Like if I'm putting a team together, he might be on my top 5. Is like if I want to win this game, I'd rather have like Garnett and Rashid, 7-footers that can shoot the 3 and play defense, as opposed to maybe Duncan and whoever else down with Shaq. All right, so that's my Durant rant. At number 2, I had Larry Bird, Terry. Like I said, everyone at some point thought he could be the best player in the league or was the best player in the league. He averaged 27, 24, 10, and 6 over his career. His best was 39 and 8, which is pretty much the same as LeBron's. 3 NBA championships. I'm gonna pull up his other stuff real quick. 3 times NBA MVP.
What was his career free throw shooting? Probably 89, 90.
You're close. 88.6.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
88.6 career free throw shooter.
Led the NBA a lot.
LeBron at free throw is 69.7.
That's amazing.
It's ridiculous.
See, those are the ones that take me away. That's the reason I took Shaquille out of my top 10.
Right.
Because he'd kill you there, and LeBron can kill you there too. Cannot shoot him.
Can you not just play hack and Shack on those two? Who cares? If the only way, and their games are made to allow them to commit a lot of offensive fouls for them to be able to play the way that they want to play and get the points that they wanted to get. All right, so here comes number 3, which is going to ruin everybody's day, but I'm going to stand fast on this. I'm not saying one-on-one he's a better player, but I am going to make an argument that he may have had a better career, and that's Manu Ginobili over LeBron James. Head-to-head, Manu's teams in the NBA have won 2 championships. LeBron won. They both had the same number of all-star teammates in 2. Now, you say, well, Kevin, what about Tim Duncan? I'll bring up Tim Duncan. I'm glad you asked. I asked the question, though. Here's why. Terry, and for those folks who say, well, Tim Duncan was the leader of that team. Duncan didn't win any championships without any all-stars on his team, did he? David Robinson was on the first one. Sean Elliott was on the first ones. Then he got Manu and Tony Parker. So, how great was Duncan? Looks to me like Tim Duncan has a bronze medal, too. Where did Tim Duncan get his bronze medal, folks? He got it playing with LeBron James himself. And who beat them? Manu Ginobili. What excuse is there for that? Your team is Iverson, Marbury, Dwayne Wade, Carlos Boozer, Carmelo, LeBron, Okafor, Sean Marion, Amari Stoudemire, Tim Duncan, who you say is the leader of the Spurs and not Manu, Lamar Odom, who is a crackhead, I'll give you that, and Richard Jefferson. Now, with all that said, the 2004 Shame of America Olympic basketball team, LeBron lost. The only time the American pros have ever lost is LeBron's and his cohorts of Duncan, who obviously is not the leader of the team because Manu is, because he has not won any without Manu or David Robinson. Manu is 2-1 against LeBron in the NBA, and he's 1-0 against LeBron. Well, he might have lost the next year, but I don't care. He beat LeBron in the Olympics by himself with, who was it? Tiago Splitter was the number 2 player. I'm about to pull that up now, too, just
Probably
to make the point. Probably not. No. But that is why. Now, if I didn't say the names Manu Ginobili or LeBron James, Terry, will that argument make sense or not? If I said player A and player B.
For some people, because all I wanted was your top 10.
That's right. Well, there's 5.
You know what?
You know, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 is Rasheed Wallace. He's my 1, 2, 3 on favorite.
Here's your stat of the morning. I forgot about this. The 2004 men's basketball team lost the opening game by 19 points to Puerto Rico. They didn't
even have to lose to Argentina.
They were beaten by Lithuania. They were beaten by Argentina. They were beaten prior to the Olympics by Italy.
Tom, now Google how many times Michael Jordan lost to foreign competition.
Yeah, that would be 0. I don't need to Google it. I don't need to Google it, buddy. I don't need to Google it.
I'm going to give you this all-time Argentina lineup, Hunter. You ready for these Hall of Famers?
Is Luis Scola on it?
Yes.
I knew it. That's the only other one I could have guessed.
Now,
Because
count,
they played in the NBA.
Terry, count the Hall of Famers on it. Now, these are people. Now, remember, NBA people get in Hall of Fame quite easy. Iverson. D. Wade. That's somebody give me numbers here. Say 2.
Probably 2.
Carmelo.
3.
LeBron.
4.
Is Amari Stoudemire a Hall of Famer?
No.
No. They'll look at the Nick years
Yeah,
and say
they'll
no.
look, but I'm gonna say no.
Duncan.
Yes.
Is Richard Jefferson a Hall of Famer?
No.
So that's how many?
5 out of 7.
Well, that's just there's 12 players. That's just only 5. I'm not saying Sean Marion's
Okay.
name out loud and Carlos Boozer.
Yeah. No.
I did, but I didn't. Here's the All Stars that Manu Ginobili dragged to a gold medal over Tim Duncan and LeBron James. The great Carlos Delfino, Gabriel Fernandez, Leonardo Gutierrez, the Charlotte Bobcat, Walter Herman, Alejandro Ariel Monteteca,
So he ought to get it just on account of his name.
Andres Nociano, my favorite, Fabricio Roberto. None of y'all counted Hall of Famers? I haven't heard one yet.
Yeah, I'm not.
Y'all haven't said one yet? All right.
Besides maybe Manu.
Pepe Sanchez, Luis Scola, Hugo Ariel Sconakini, and Ruben Walco Whiskey. That is not even close to that last one, but some of them were. Now, Hunter, is that a Olympic World Cup team or the basketball team that defeated Tim Duncan and LeBron James?
Well,
That's my case for Ginobili over LeBron. And he's 2 behind him. So LeBron's got some work to do, Tom, to get on my Mount Rushmore of small forwards. Not basketball players, small forwards. Now, Terry, that's my rant of the day.
Okay. Good job.
That's my top 10.
All I wanted was top 10.
All right, Terry. Jordan. Real quick.
just do 5.
Wilt. Russell. Bird. Magic. Ginobili. Dirk. 6, 7. Let's see. David Robinson. Barkley. And JJ Barea for beating those guys in the U.S. Olympic team.
I'm muting him.
Puerto Rico, Tom said he just reported Puerto Rico beat him. I'm guessing that was a JJ Barea. So Barrera is 2-0 against LeBron, beat him in the Olympics, and beat him in the NBA Finals. Just note, make that note.
Take it out of
JP,
here.
let's take a break. We'll be back in a few minutes. KTCBroadcasting.com.